dating, especially when you're a successful man. And I see this online all the time, YouTube, TikTok, and the reality is I always hear the wrong advice. And look, I'm making the time today to give you the real information. No filters, no BS, just facts. So let's dive right in. The world of dating is really interesting, isn't it? Because we all think we know what we want. We all think we've got game. And the reality is everyone out there, most people are lonely and they're with the wrong partner, and they might not even be able to get a partner or a date for that matter. And when you're successful, especially as a man, this is where it can get even more complicated. The odds are stacked against you, and the reality is there isn't a lot of quality women out there anymore. So let's be real, anyone could be good looking. So you go on Instagram, explore, you'll find beautiful women across the world. But it doesn't mean that they're mentally stimulating. It doesn't mean, 9 times out of 10, these women can't hold a conversation, they're brain dead. And I think what people fail to realise, you're not going to find a quality woman online. Facts. So I look at online dating as more of a social experiment. And at the end of the day, as I said, it's a learning experience. And especially when you're navigating life on your own terms, it's very important not to make a mistake with the wrong woman. And again, I see it all the time. The majority of quality women, they're not going to be on social media. And that's why it's always best to meet women in person, ideally as soon as possible, because I know guys out there that will spend weeks, months just chatting, and you'll eventually meet the person, and guess what? They won't live up to the benchmark, they won't be up to the mark. And to save yourself time, effort, energy, just meet people in real life, as simple as it sounds. The trouble is, the culture these days is all about partying, drugs, alcohol. And look, let's face it, a lot of women are about that party life. And at the end of the day, you can't change people, you can only observe them. And when it's time to cut someone off, you'll know. And a lot of people's habits come from unresolved childhood trauma. And while words and intentions, they might be good, actions are driven by your subconscious, and people always revert to type. It could be daddy issues, it could be past relationships, baggage, a number of things. Look, don't get me wrong, women can be amazing, but you need to find someone who is emotionally aware. And the way I look at it is, if you've worked on yourself to get to where you are, there's a standard that you need to keep. And ultimately, you attract what you put out. If you have high standards in business, mindset, and finance, you should pursue that in a relationship too. Of course you should, because a woman's either going to bring you up or pull you down. And again, a lot of men, they'll date because they're afraid of being alone and they don't want to have dinner by themselves, or they feel like they have no company. But that's the wrong approach. You need to focus on building a community and even get involved with communities with like-minded individuals, and get out there and, like I said, meet people in real life. Don't rely on alcohol to just have a conversation. It's pathetic. What do they call it here in the UK? Dutch courage, I don't know what to say. I can't help you if you're one of those people. Nevertheless, moving on. Obviously, money is a byproduct of who you are. And obviously, one of the biggest mistakes that men make in dating is pursuing women before they've established themselves first. Big mistake. They'll get distracted, they'll lose focus with their current situation. And then obviously, it's all downhill from there, isn't it? You need to be happy with your current situation, whether that's in business, your personal development, your personal growth. I'm going to share the game in one line, right? People spend too much time chasing women. Chase money and women will chase you. It's as simple as that. And again, relationships, it's like, it's the same in business. Business and dating relationships, in fact, they're exactly the same. The best deals and partnerships are built not after one meeting, it's after developing a personal relationship, and it's about building genuine connections with like no hidden agendas. And look, these things take time, even years. So that's why it's good to travel, step outside your comfort zone, and see what's out there. Believe me, I've been around, I've seen them all. I've got a model management agency. I deal with women on a daily basis. I know how they think, I know how they work. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm saving you years of headache, time, money, and mistakes you can learn from. Obviously with myself, currently living in the UK, British dating culture is like very different from like European or other cultures. Different mindset, values, philosophies. And I think you need to find out what resonates with you. If you're into like the fast-paced London lifestyle, date within that proximity. Don't look elsewhere. Otherwise, you'll set yourself up for clashes, conflicting values, and it's all downhill, isn't it? So to summarize, you're not going to find a quality woman on dating apps. What do they have these days? Tinder, Bumble. The business model for these dating apps is designed to keep you coming back, spending more, and then obviously returning after a short break. It's a social experiment, and especially when traveling, you'll meet some really interesting people, and you'll learn about different cultures. But look, you'll notice a huge difference between women from Western societies and obviously across different parts of the world. And obviously it will broaden your perspective in terms of how women actually think. And look, you know, I do encourage everyone to try it as an experiment, and you'll see exactly what I mean. If you look at dating bios, for example, honestly, they're some of the worst and the funniest things as well. It's like an unspoken plea, like I'm lonely, I want attention, but I'm not looking for commitment. Or they're looking for the one, but they're on a platform that's designed for hookups. And then they wonder why they feel empty after a first date when they've got nothing left to give. And you can connect the dots and you know exactly what I mean when I say that. Most women on these platforms, they'll usually like offer their bodies as a main way to attract men. But once that's given up, there's nothing left to sustain a relationship. So what you find is a cycle of people, men and women, that are emotionally drained, without values, standards. And the best people you'll meet are going to be in real life, in the right places. If you meet a woman in a bar, you probably already know how that story ends. So here's what here's what you need to do, and this will fix your problem. So number one, start on working on your own issues. So look at the root causes of your inner demons, and no woman's going to fix that for you. Once you're in a good space mentally, you'll obviously attract the right energy, the right people. And again, looks does play an important factor. You know, you see someone first before you hear them speak. So you need to focus on building an impressive physique. You need to look good. You need to look good in what you're wearing. You need to look attractive. You need to look strong. And that's step number one, because again, that's what a woman's going to notice first. And then obviously once you're well built, you'll then have the psychology of discipline and what it means to look after yourself from a physical and mental aspect. And you'll start to get the building blocks of becoming a better man. I call it the total package, but we'll talk about that another day. You'll have more choices, and look, choice is good. And ultimately, it's going to help you make the right decision. So before you think about dating, take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you the best version of yourself? Do you deserve a supermodel around your arms? If the answer is no, reach out to me directly or my team, and obviously we'll help you get on track. You don't get a second chance at a first impression, so we'll help you level up. Again, the first thing we'll look at is getting you to look the part. You know, developing, like I mentioned, a strong physique that'll obviously attract women. And then we'll deep dive into the whole psychology, the mental aspects, and how to find the one. But again, you know, if we can elevate the quality and the caliber of men and their standards, that in fact should elevate the level of women around as well. So it's yin and yang, isn't it? So we're all to blame, but obviously I'm talking to guys here, and this is who my audience is. So this is who I can help. So again, reach out, have a think about what I've just said, circle back, see if you can relate to any of the points, and we'll talk more about this in future videos and future details. This is just a quick summary in terms of how I feel, and I've had a few requests to talk about this. And till next time, of course, hit the subscribe button. As I said, reach out to the team and we'll help you out. Till next time.